Move forward. I have one question to ask. How many people here actually are ready to see Donald Trump as the next president of the United States? Me too. We are ready. I tell you, this is a special night. Today is the 1-year anniversary since we started this campaign. Thank you so much for coming out. You're in for a treat. Mr. Trump is on his way shortly. We got some speakers first, and you're going to be really excited. There's my mom right there. Thank you for coming out. Please help me introduce our first speaker. He's going to do the invocation. He's a friend of Dallas, friend of DFW, Pastor Robert Jeffress.
You know, many times people will ask me why I, as a pastor, get involved in politics and am getting involved in this election. And the answer is very simple. When you look at American history and there was a need for great change in our country, it was always pastors and Christians who were at the forefront calling for that change. That's true, for example, with the American Revolution. It was pastors, the black-robed regiment, who led the call for the American Revolution. It was pastors who led the way for the abolition of slavery. And it's pastors who led the way in the civil rights movement. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I believe it's time for change in America again. And let me be very clear. I believe that the only ultimate change is the change of heart that comes from a relationship with Jesus Christ. But I also believe that God has ordained government to perform certain functions as well. And I don't know about you, but I believe it is time for a great change in our government. And the only person who can lead that change is Donald J. Trump. And that is why I am supporting him for President of the United States. Now, let's take a moment now to bow together in a word of prayer and ask God's blessing on our meeting tonight. Heavenly Father, we come before you thankful that, as John Jay once said, you are the one who has given us the freedom, the privilege to select our leaders. Let us never take that freedom for granted. Father, tonight I come before you thanking you for my friend Donald Trump, who for the last year has poured his life into running for President of the United States, not because he needed any more money, not because he needed any more fame, but because he truly loves this country. I thank you that Donald Trump is a man who believes in the sanctity of life, believes in religious liberty for all Americans, and who is absolutely determined to do whatever is necessary to keep this nation safe. I want to pray tonight for Mr. Trump, for Melania, for all of their family, for your blessing and protection upon them. And we pray all of this in the powerful name of Jesus Christ, who came and died and rose again that we might have eternal life. It is in his saving name that we pray. Amen. God bless Melania, for all of their family, for your blessing and protection upon them.
Quick question, do we have any veterans in the house? God bless y'all. Thank you for your service. Next, I want to introduce to y'all a Vietnam veteran. He's a Purple Heart. He won the Purple Heart Award. He's a very special friend of mine, Mr. Alan Clark. Come on out here and do the pledges. He's a very special friend of mine, Mr. Alan Clark. Come on out here and do the pledges.
On June 16th, 1967, exactly 49 years ago, 1967, exactly 49 years ago, this very day, I was assigned to the Green Berets at an isolated camp in Vietnam. We came under an intense mortar attack. An enemy mortar round fell behind me, taking off my left leg traumatically below the knee. My right leg was amputated below the knee 10 days later. When we are severely wounded in military service and live, that day is forever known as our alive day. I am alive again in a new and special way due to recognizing that my country, for which I almost gave my life, has a renewed opportunity to be great again under the leadership of an exceptional man, Trump. For whose support we are gathered here tonight. Just as Donald Trump is a patriotic American loyal to the ideals that truly represent us, I represent tonight our active military and veterans, also loyal and patriotic Americans. Please join me first in the Pledge of Allegiance to our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We will also pay honor to our great state of Texas. And under the leadership of the exceptional man, Donald Trump. I pledge allegiance to lead Texas. For whose support we are gathered here tonight. Just as Donald Trump is a patriotic American loyal to the ideals that truly represent us, I represent tonight our active military and veterans, also loyal and patriotic Americans. Please join me first in the Pledge of Allegiance to our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We will also pay honor to our great state of Texas. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible. Thank you.
Let's give a warm welcome to Tiffany Tubbs. She's doing our national anthem. Tiffany, come on out.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in and gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? Thank you.
Wasn't that beautiful? Our first speaker, most of you know, conservative talk show host, 660 AM, The Answer. Please help me introduce my good friend, Mark Davis.
Texas or what? Man. So you might have noticed that a lot of these arrangements for today have come together just like in the last 24 or 48 hours. So truly, I'm on the show this morning, as he kindly mentioned, on 660 AM The Answer, where I will tell stories tomorrow. And as the show ends, as it ends, only then did we firm up the opportunity, and Eric was kind enough to call and ask if I could come out here and warm up the crowd. I'm glad to be here. You guys do not need warming up. I got a feeling I have a feeling we are all getting ready to warm up. We are all getting ready to warm up an engine of change. Let me recount a couple of things that we might be getting ready to warm up. We might be ready to warm up toward a race that makes sure that Hillary Clinton does not set foot in the Oval Office. We are ready to warm things up so that the right kind of Supreme Court justices are named to the nation's highest court. We are ready to warm things up and do something about ISIS and global jihad. We are ready to warm things up to create an economy that creates jobs and puts Americans back to work. So if you think things need warming up, those are the kind of things that we're going to be warmed up and ready to do. So we share certain things in this room. We are Republicans, one presumes, even though the occasional Trump voting Democrat is okay by me. We'll take you. We'll take you. Heck yes, we will. I am proudly conservative, as I know you are as well. And I am, it was such a joy to see Pastor Jeffress, I am also an evangelical Christian. Now, not an applause line, but thank you. Here's why that's important. On the talk show and at Pastor Jeffress' church and all around, there may be certain questions about evangelicals backing Trump. I want to give you something. My goal is to give you things that you can put into your own words and take out from this building and have conversations with people who are not quite hip to the cause just yet. So if anybody says, yeah, but what about Trump and the evangelicals? What's going on? Craft this however you like and see if this makes sense to you. When there were 17 people running for the Republican nomination, and they were a magnificent and talented group, when all of those people were up there, there were people who were godly examples of an evangelical life. And I love them and I respect them. What is the greatest threat to our Christian expression in America today? It's not Democrats indeed. It's not an ISIS cell in every neighborhood, not yet, and President Trump's going to do something about that. It is the oppression of political correctness. It is the attempt to marginalize and even criminalize our faith-based beliefs. Now, that Republican field contained a number of people who would have been proud fellow soldiers in that fight. Donald Trump is an M1 Abrams tank in that fight. And that is why his presidency will protect our religious freedom. Last thing. All of you who are here, many of you have been on board with Trump from the beginning. Others of you have had to take a journey, and that's okay too. Let's talk about that journey, because you have friends who have made the journey. You have friends who have not yet made the journey. It is time to lovingly, yet insistently, get with them with facts and logic and truth and say, you may have backed other candidates, and that was fine. But that time is done. There is only one conductor on this train, only one man that can keep Hillary from being president, only one man in whom we invest our hopes, in whom we place our prayers, in whom we are going to vote, and his name is Donald Trump. He'll be out here soon. God bless y'all, everybody. See you.
Isn't he great? So another quick question. Anybody come out from Tarrant County? I'm from Tarrant County, and I'm going to introduce the next gentleman. I met him when I first started being a political activist and getting involved in politics. We've seen with the Trump campaign, we have made history with Mr. Trump gaining the more votes than any other Republican nominee in the history of the Republican Party. This gentleman has made history too. He's the first county commissioner, Asian county commissioner in Tarrant County. He's currently the president of TARA, which is the Texas Asian Republican Assembly. Please help me welcome my good friend, Andy Nguyen.
I'm a legal immigrant. I'm a proud naturalized American. 41 years ago, when Saigon fell on April 30th, 1975, the entire country of Vietnam became a giant prison, and the people of Vietnam fell into utter starvation. Hundreds of thousands died. Millions were imprisoned in hard labor camp without a sentence. My father was among them. I know the tremendous pain of losing freedom. I know what it's like to be on the receiving end of the liberal left policy. You see, a bad doctor may cure one patient. A bad lawyer may cause problems for one family. But a bad politician can kill thousands of people and destroy generations of families. The problem of America is that we have too many bad politicians. And Hillary Clinton is number one on that list. My family and I, in 1981, we came to this country as strangers, speaking a different language, from a different culture. But we came because we wanted to be Americans. We wanted to be safe under the protection of the rules of law. We wanted to be free. Now I embrace America and have vowed to defend her from all enemies as a veteran of the United States Army. You know, I'm no different from you. I welcome all legal immigrants from around the world who have joined me on this unique American journey. We may look and sound different from each other, but we are all Americans. And now is the time that all Americans need to come together, united to preserve America. Make no mistake about it. The stake of this November election isn't just simply partisan politics. The stake is America herself. America is under attack by a demonic enemy, and she is restrained by the liberal left from defending herself, just as they had restrained our military men and women from defending themselves in Vietnam. Make no mistake about it, America is at war. The demonic radical Islamic terrorists have declared war on America and on the free world. They have vowed to kill all Americans and destroy our way of life. And how have America's leadership responded? President Obama and Mrs. Clinton have been so timid that they couldn't even identify America's enemy by its name. Hillary Clinton has proven herself to be not worthy of Commander-in-Chief. She has allowed American patriots to be murdered in Benghazi without lifting a finger to help. And then lied to the American. As a veteran, I would be greatly demoralized under Hillary Clinton's leadership. Why would any American want to subject our military men and women under that kind of leadership? We need a strong leader who has the resolve to take the fight to the enemy and to protect all Americans at all costs. In war, we need a wartime leader. My fellow Americans, we have that leader, and he is Donald J. Trump. The economy has been growing abysmally, suffocated by undue regulations, taxes, and debt. Hillary Clinton only provides lip service. Just like President Obama, she never ran a business and has no clue what it takes to meet payroll. Although she is very good at enriching herself and her family at the expense of the American people. Make no mistake about it, America is going broke. We need a president who knows how to create jobs in the private sector, balance the budget, reduce the debt load, and understand that the success of America is tied to a prosperous middle class. In tough financial circumstances, we need a leader who understands business and commerce. My fellow Americans, we have that leader, and he is billionaire Donald J. Trump. America's immigration system is riddled with gaps created by political correctness and lawlessness. I personally know people from my own family who have been on the legal immigration waiting list for almost a decade. They have done everything right as required by law, and they are still patiently waiting. Yet, with a pen, President Obama made 5 million undocumented immigrants legal, bringing them in front of the line, getting them through the front door. For people to skip the checkout line in the grocery stores, why is it acceptable for people to skip the legal immigration waiting line? What incentive is there for immigrants to follow all immigration law? In the name of tolerance, Hillary and her liberal Democrats continue to undermine the rules of law of our country, the very foundation of justice in America. Make no mistake about it, America's immigration system is broken, and our enemy has been successful in probing and exploiting the weaknesses of our immigration system to bring mass murders and destruction to our neighborhoods. When the status quo is reinforced with political correctness and lawlessness, we need a president who has the strength and the courage to break down the status quo in pursuit of a common common sense immigration solution that places the rules of law, the United States sovereignty, and the American people first. My dear friends, we have that leader, and his name is Donald J. Trump. Now, I know that some people, including some of my fellow Republican and conservative friends, are trying to figure out reasons to get behind the Trump's campaign. Some even talk about not voting at all. Let me remind them that the time for debate and argument among ourselves is past. We have a nominee for president, and there is no more time to waste. Every pause for consideration is nothing more than a delay and distraction to buy Hillary Clinton and her radical left more time to play shackle on America. We have that. Finally, I want to remind America of a statement made by General George Patton. Nobody ever defended anything successful. There is only attack, and attack, and attack some more. Some even talk about not voting at all. Let me remind them that the time for debate and argument among ourselves is past. We have a nominee for president, and there is no more time to waste. Every pause for consideration is nothing more than a delay and distraction to buy Hillary Clinton and her radical left more time to play shackle on America. Finally, I want to remind America of a statement made by General George Patton. Nobody ever defended anything successful. There is only attack, and attack, and attack some more. My friends, in wartime, a wartime leader is needed. Hillary and her Democrats have convinced us to fight defensively, blindfolded, with both hands tied behind our backs, in the name of tolerance and equality. What about the rights of law-abiding and hard-working Americans? No more. This is not the time for polite debate. It is time for bonus and decisive action. We must attack and attack and attack some more. In many cases, we have that leader. He makes no apology and asks for no quarter. The media, the elite, and the political establishment don't know what to make of him. They can't fit him into a political mold. Donald J. Trump has awakened a sleeping giant. The American people. We will not go quietly into the night while our borders are erased, our children preyed upon, our jobs eliminated, and our voices ignored. Today, my dear friends, one has stood up in our midst. He has heard our voices and has justified our anger. He is Donald J. Trump, President of the United States of America. Thank you.
I love Andy. He's a great guy, great friend. We just have someone that just showed up. He wants to say a quick word. Just walked in right now. Please help me welcome Congressman Michael Burgess.
Wow, what a crowd. I mean, I just flew in on the airplane from Washington. We passed our defense appropriations bill today, trying to pay the money we need to pay our soldiers so they can keep us safe and free. It hadn't been easy, but I'll tell you what, since a Tuesday night in May, I used to go to a lot of Ted Cruz rallies. I've never been to a Donald Trump rally. This is a different experience. But at the end of Donald Trump's book, The Art of the Deal, he talks about his ability to detect talent in people and bring out that talent. I was proud to endorse Donald Trump. I didn't say I was endorsing the nominee of the party. I endorsed the man, Donald Trump. I endorse what he stands for. Let's win. Let's make America great again.
All right, our last speaker, another dear friend of mine. I tell you, here in Texas, we prosper from the oil and gas. And the problem we've had with the Obama administration is their overreach, trying to put their hands into Texas and tell us what to do. That's not going to happen. Our next speaker is going to make sure that doesn't happen. He's a former state representative, one of the most conservative state representatives to ever serve in the Texas House. He is currently the Republican nominee for the Texas Railroad Commission, which the Texas Railroad Commission regulates oil and gas. So it's important that we meet this gentleman next up. Wayne Christian, come on out.
Well, what a crowd. I tell you what, is anybody here ready to make a change in Washington? Hey, do y'all know 217 more days and we're going to have the hand raised of Donald J. Trump as president? I like that. I tell you, Hillary, we have a president that really, can you imagine, will not even say the word, and let me get it straight here so I am politically incorrect, let's put it like that, a radical Islamic extremist. It can't even be in the FBI manual anymore, in the CIA manual anymore. And let me tell you, one thing we have to give Mr. Obama credit for. And I was talking to Dr. Jeffers back there, said, we have not had any attacks from any horrible Southern Baptist attack groups during this administration. They protected us, all right? Let me tell you what, I'm Wayne Christian. I'm running for the Texas State Railroad Commission. And a lot of people, as you always say, well, we got to do with railroads? Let me tell you, it doesn't do railroads. It does oil, gas, and coal in the state of Texas. Had it not been for the state of Texas, Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton would have served the last 8 years with negative growth in the economy. Texas bailed them out. We believe in Texas and free markets. That's right, drill baby drill. We believe in free markets. Bob McEwen, who was congressman under Ronald Reagan, says that every country that believes in less government is richer, and every country that believes in more government is poorer. That's why we need a businessman that knows the capitalist system our forefathers founded, that has been successful, is a hero to that, and that's Donald J. Trump as president. Hillary was against the Keystone Pipeline from day one, which is thousands of jobs, millions of dollars, opportunities for America. Do you know for every 50 miles of pipeline in America, it takes 1,518 wheelers off the road? She's fought it from everything. Her EPA, Barack Obama, Al Gore, Hillary Clinton, EPA, radical tree-hugging, lizard-hugging EPA has tried to keep us from producing in the state of Texas. But we know how to say no and even put an adjective in front of the no when they're bad enough and done. Right? If Hillary closes coal mines, as she told the miners up in the Northeast, do you realize in Texas, you're wondering how the Railroad Commission, oil and gas affect you? Are you in the oil and gas business? Let me tell you, it's 1/3 of the jobs in the state of Texas, either directly or indirectly, oil, gas, and coal. You're talking 20% if you go roads, schools, law enforcement, 20% of that's oil, gas, and coals. It's important in Texas. When Hillary says she wants to stop drilling for coal in Texas, stop mining coal, it's 1/3 of your electric production in this state. Your electric bill will go up $1,000 on the average if Hillary Clinton becomes president. That means we want to make sure she does not become president. Donald Trump is a free market capitalist, super successful businessman, understands free markets, and we want you to understand that we need him as president of the United States, not just because we want to be the best there is in the world. We're already the best there is in the world. We don't want to be like the rest of the world. That's what we need protection from. Energy costs in America would go up 54% under Obama and Hillary's plan. Donald Trump is free market. Coal in Texas we want to produce. Drill, baby, drill is what we're after. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to do one thing, is realize that we in the state of Texas do things different from the rest of the nation. While we've sat back and seen them bow down and kiss you-know-what parts of bodies that we won't discuss in mixed company in Texas, we've seen people go up there and become whatever it took to get the money back in their pockets and do what they could and become part of the establishment. And let me tell you, those people are the ones that have driven our nation almost into the ground. I'm glad to say we have a fellow who is rich, real rich by his own statements. He doesn't have to bow down and kiss anybody's rings. He can go up there and stand up for the common man and make sure that the United States of America and Texas retain their place as the example and shining light on the hill. Donald J. Trump has got to become president, and I'm glad to say that in November, I want you to do one thing. I want you to go out and get every member of your family, every member of your church, your club, your VA organization, any group you know, every step cousin, nephew, half-ain't, in-law, outlaw, drag them to the polls in November. Vote first for Donald J. Trump for president, and for Railroad Commission, Wayne Christian, who is, if you can't remember, just remember to vote for the only Christian on the ballot. God bless you. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we all know that as President of the United States, Mr. Trump will continue his lifelong defense of the right of free speech in America. As a matter of fact, he supports the First Amendment just as much as he supports the Second Amendment. However, some people have taken advantage of Mr. Trump's hospitality by choosing to disrupt his rallies by using them as an opportunity to promote their own political messages. While they certainly have the right to free speech, this is a private event paid for by Mr. Trump. We have provided a safe protest area outside the venue for all protesters. If a protester starts demonstrating in the area around you, please do not touch or harm the protester. This is a peaceful rally. In order to notify law enforcement officers of the location of the protester, please hold a rally sign over your head and start chanting, "Trump, Trump, Trump." Ask the people around you to do likewise until officers remove the protester. Thank you for helping us make America great again. And now, the senior policy advisor to Mr. Trump. Please give a huge Texas welcome to Mr. Steve Miller.
Now, in just a few moments, you're going to hear from the man himself, Donald J. Trump. Now, in recent days, I'm sure you've seen Hillary Clinton step up her attacks on Donald Trump. And you've seen all the usual special interests step up their attacks on Donald Trump too. And the one thing all these groups have in common is that they run the show now, and they want to make sure they run the show forever. That's what this all comes down to. Everybody who stands against Donald Trump are the people who've been running this country into the ground. They're the people who've been controlling the levers of power. They're the people who are responsible for our open border, for our shrinking middle class, for our terrible trade deals. Everything that is wrong with this country today, the people opposing Donald J. Trump are responsible for. And that's what everybody needs to understand. When you turn on your TV, when you listen to your radio, when you hear the politicians speak, remember this. The people speaking out against Donald Trump, the special interests opposing Donald Trump, all the people who are mad at Donald Trump are mad because he threatens their power, he threatens their corrupt control, he threatens their ability to run their country for their benefit and their benefit alone. Donald J. Trump represents our one chance to break up the control of the special interests and make sure that you and your children and your neighbors and your friends make the decisions about the United States' future. That's what this election comes down to. Now, many of you here in Texas have seen firsthand the effect that open borders has on this country. You've seen what it does to living standards. You've seen what it does to wages. You've seen what it does in terms of transnational cartels. You've seen what it's done to the innocent victims of illegal immigrant crime. You have seen the heartbreak. You have seen the heartache. You have seen the death. You have seen the needless destruction because we can't secure this border. Everybody who is trying to stop Donald J. Trump wants that border to stay wide open. They want illegal immigrants to continue pouring in. They do not want to protect the American people. Donald J. Trump is running for president so that he can finally put the American people first. Donald J. Trump is going to build that wall so your family can be safe. The Democrats are building a big wall around their convention. We're going to build that wall high and we're going to build it tall. And we're going to build that wall, we're going to build it out of love. We're going to build out of love for every family that wants to raise their kids in safety and peace. We're going to build out of love for every mom who sends her kid to school and wants there to be enough resources to educate her own child. We're building it out of love for everybody who wants to be able to go to a hospital and get the care they need. We're building it out of love for America and Americans of all backgrounds. Understand this, Hillary Clinton has no compassion, no care, no concern, no love in her heart for the working people of this country. We are in the fight of our lives, folks. Did you ever think the special interests would give up control easily? Did you ever think they wouldn't scratch and claw and fight with their last ounce of strength to maintain their fever grip on this country? Did you ever think the politicians who betrayed you, the donors who sold you out, the special interests who didn't care about your family, did you ever think they would just hand the keys of power over without a fight? You knew that this moment would come where we would have to stand tall and stand strong and stand together to take back this country. And you knew it wasn't going to be easy. And you knew you would have to dig down deep inside to find that extra measure of strength and devotion and courage so that your children can grow up in a country where they can say, my needs come first in my own country, where they can say, my job comes first in my own country, where they can say, my security exists for the people of this country who go to work every day, who follow our rules, who fight our wars, who love their country and love each other, and who make this a great nation. A country is all about its people. The people are the heart of a country. The people are the soul of a country. It's not the donors. The pulse, the heartbeat, the essence of a country is you. It's all of you. And you've all been forgotten. And the evidence is all around us. Our hearts broke as a nation last summer when Kate Steinle was murdered in cold blood. And yet we saw the people who ran this country couldn't be roused to action by that horrible tragedy. The sight of Kate Steinle dead was not enough to bring our political class to action on behalf of the American people. How many children are dead because of our sanctuary cities? How many moms are grieving because of our sanctuary cities? How many American lives, how many American families were broken apart and separated because our politicians only care about lining their own pockets? Don't ever, ever let anybody tell you that you're not a good person because you want to secure the border. You are a patriot because you want to secure the border. You are somebody acting out of love for your fellow man and your country and your community when you want to secure the border. The people who are heartless, the people who are shameless, the people who should be apologizing every day and asking for forgiveness are the people who left that border open, knowing the toll it's put on our communities. The overdoses from the drugs, from the gangs, the cartels, they need to be apologizing to you and begging you for your forgiveness because they have betrayed your interests as American citizens. But I have some good news for you. I have some fabulous news for you folks, and I'm excited to get the chance to deliver it. After years of betrayal, history has given us a chance to take back the country for the people. History has given us the chance to tell the special interests they don't write the rules anymore. History has given us the chance to tell the politicians who betrayed you that they're not going to be calling the shots anymore. History has given us the chance to put a man in the White House who answers only to you and you alone. Folks, that is a wonderful and blessed thing. That's an opportunity many of us never thought would come. I think a lot of us, let's be honest, we were starting to lose hope, weren't we? We were starting to think that day would never arrive. And then something magical happened, and we saw it unfold this whole primary season beginning 1 year ago today. We saw a man stand up and stand tall, and when the special interests came after him, when they bullied him, when they told him to back down, when they told him to change his tone, when they told him to stop fighting for you, you know what he said? I'm never backing down. I am never stopping this fight. I am never going to stop representing the people of this country. Donald J. Trump, unlike Hillary Clinton, he cares about you. Donald J. Trump, unlike Hillary Clinton, is going to fight for you. Donald J. Trump, unlike Hillary Clinton, he can't be bought. He can't be purchased. He can't be owned. His only special interest is the American people for whom he will always be loyal. He will be your fiercest champion. And when you need help, when you need his support, he will never say, no, a donor told me I can't do this. He'll never say, no, the media told me I can't do this. He'll never say, no, the bankers, the Wall Street financiers, the global special interests told me I can't do this. He'll say, if it's right for America, I'm going to do it, and I will never apologize. And folks, in a few minutes you're going to hear from him, so I want you to shout so loud that they can hear you in Washington, D.C. I want you to shout so loud. I want you to shout so loud that it shakes the boots of all the special interests. Are you ready? Are you ready to send to Washington a man who will put Americans first, last, and always? Are you ready to elect Donald J. Trump? And are you ready to put the American people first again? God bless the state of Texas. God bless all of you. And God bless this country. Thank you.
Hit it, Bobby. Hit it. Yellow rolls a couple of minutes.
Texas. We're going to win Texas so big. We're going to win so big. I do have to say, though, you know, I was, just before I left, I had one of these television, they were turned on, and they said, well, you know, they have about 4,500 people inside because that's maximum. By the way, it took us about 2 minutes to sell that out. but we had 4,500 inside. But there are thousands and thousands of people outside, protesters. But they weren't protesters, they're our people. They can't get in, and they're saying they're protesters. So next time we have to get a bigger venue. We like this venue. It represents a lot, right? Represents a lot. And they were very nice to us. But we do need a bigger venue, and we'll get a bigger venue next time. I want to thank you, and I want to thank thousands of people outside, and they're waving, and I want to just stop, and I want to go and wade in and hug them and kiss them. But there's a problem. Secret Service doesn't love that idea so much. Well, I want to thank you all. So, a lot of things are happening. Thank you. Thank you. I love you too. I love you too. Love you too. So we're just beginning this process, and you know it started, believe it or not, right? June 16th, 1 year, the escalator. 1 year, this is the 1 year anniversary, and we're going to make it, hopefully we're going to make it a worthwhile year. They're all talking about we've created a movement. Somebody said, doesn't make any difference how Donald Trump does from now on, because what he's done has never been done before. I said, like hell it doesn't make a difference. It makes a big difference. I am so looking forward to the debate. The debate. There's so much there. I am so looking forward to it. The debate with crooked Hillary. I assume she's going to be allowed. No, I assume she's going to be allowed to run. I mean, you tell me. You think that's a fair situation? Oh, boy. But one of those things. And Bernie's still out there. He's still out there. Bernie is out there. And I'm hearing we're going to pick up a lot of Bernie supporters. Because, you know, one thing, which is amazing, but if you think about it, we're very similar on one thing, except I can do much more about it to fix it. Trade. Because he understands that our country is being totally ripped off like you never saw before, ripped off on trade. And I understand it. The difference is I'm going to make the greatest trade deals you've ever seen, ever, ever, ever. We're going to bring our jobs back. And Bernie can't do that. That Bernie can't do. But he understands the basics, and the basics are exactly that. And it's going to be about jobs, and we're going to have an administration that's going to be so, you're going to be so proud of your country. Forget about your president. Who cares? We want to be proud of our country. Let's just get it. But you're going to be so proud of your country, and hopefully very, very proud of your president. And I watch this really horrible but professional campaign. I watch it, where Hillary gets up and says, you know, she reads that teleprompter, ba-ba, 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 ba-ba. And then they say, it was a great presentation. What? And she's reading what they're telling her to read. But it won't be easy, because the press for this, you know, it's funny. I didn't love the press during the primaries. But now it's like brutal. These people are so one-sided. I have never seen, honestly, I'd never seen, like as an example, there are 5,000 protesters. They just said it, one of them. I said, I asked my people, how many are there? Maybe 3, 4, or 500. And the thousands are the people. But this is what it is. It's so biased. It's so slanted. It's so one-sided. And all I can say is the people out there are really smart, because they get it. They understand what's going on. They understand what's going on. And I appreciate it. Okay, so look, a couple of things. And I just watched President Obama. And he does it a lot. He does it a lot, because we have one after another. We have tragedy after tragedy. And it's a tough situation. But he's largely, to a large extent, he's blaming guns. And I'm going to save your Second Amendment, folks. I'm going to save your Second Amendment. Totally. And Hillary wants to abolish the Second Amendment. Remember that. Now, more sophisticated than that, but the end result will be she will abolish the Second Amendment. Just remember that. Just remember that, okay? Just remember that. And she's now trying to come back a little bit, but she can't come back because Bernie's over there and others are over there. And actually, Bernie is better on that issue than she is from our standpoint. Maybe we want to run against Bernie, but we can't have, can you believe this guy doesn't give up? One thing, you got to give him credit. You got to give him credit. He doesn't give up. We could have used a guy like that 4 years ago that didn't give up. Wouldn't that have been great? One thing, we don't give up, folks. We don't give up. The problem with our country is we have leaders that give up. They give up on so many things. They gave up on trade. We're being just ripped left and right. They gave up on the borders. They gave up on the borders, totally. They gave up on so many things, and they certainly gave up. It's almost like they gave up on ISIS. I mean, if you think about it, they gave up on ISIS. And just remember this. One of the top people in the administration, the current administration, just said, and I actually wrote it down, that ISIS is working very hard to come into the West. They're working very hard to come into our country, and they are working very hard. And you saw what one sleazebag can do. One sleazebag over the weekend, what he did, the horror that he wreaked on us as a nation. One person laughing as he's shooting, doing Facebook posts as he's shooting, calling people as he's shooting, and killing people, and no more, folks, and just no more. And you know, the gay community, the LGBT community, frankly, the LGBT community, these are people that had a place, and this was a place of safety. This is a place where people felt safe. And if you think about it, what the violation that took place, and that was allowed to take place, the violation that took place, and it's due to weakness. It's weakness on behalf of our leadership. It's weakness. People don't respect our country anymore. People don't respect our leadership anymore. People don't respect us anymore. But let me tell you, they're going to respect you folks, because things are going to change. Things are going to change. And we are going, you know, I was against the war in Iraq, and I was against it from the beginning. You know, they like to say, well, you know, in 2003, and actually somebody said, even if it was in 2004, but the fact is I was against it at the very beginning, because I said it's going to destabilize the Middle East. And then what happened is I was right, unfortunately. You know, you had two countries, Iran and Iraq, and they'd fight always, forever. They fight, they fight, they fight. They're the same. They were militarily exactly the same. So they'd fight, they'd get nowhere. In the meantime, they were hurting each other. They couldn't go crazy. So, you know, they were too busy fighting each other. So we knocked out Iraq, and now Iran, as sure as you're standing there, sorry for the seats, but we had to get the people in, okay? We'll get this. And we don't want to do it fast. We want to take our time tonight. What the hell? I came to Dallas. We want to take our time tonight. But as sure as you're standing there, and thank you, darling, I love you. I even love our protesters wherever they are. Don't we have any protesters so they turn? Any protesters, anybody? Please raise your hand, because watch what happens. The cameras will turn, they'll show them. Oh, that's good. Oh, good, there's a protester. No, but they're a nice protester. Leave them alone, that's all. Leave them alone, they're nice protesters. Can you believe? Only at a Trump rally. Do we have a great time at Trump rallies? I mean, unbelievable. Unbelievable. Yeah, you could get them out unless they want to stay. Would you like to stay? You know, when you think about it, protesters are sort of funny. What do we want? We want a strong military. We want to be protected, right? We want people coming in that love us into the country, and they want to go in and they want to do a job. And we want, by the way, we want to have a strong border. We want to have a wall. We got to have a wall. But we want people to pour into the country, but they have to come in legally, if you think. We want great education, right? We got to get rid of Common Core, bring education local. We're doing very badly on education. We've got to we've got to repeal Obamacare. We got to have great health care. This is a disaster. And by the way, I read this in New York. As you know, Blue Cross Blue Shield, right? Through Obamacare, raised 60%, went up 60%. It was just announced. And, you know, the country didn't really pick it up. They don't like to pick things like that. It's 60% increase. Your deductibles are so high that nobody's ever going to use it unless you have a really low, slow, horrible death. Otherwise, you'll never be able to use it. The deductible is so high that you're not going to be able to use it. Your premiums have gone up 60%. It's a disaster. The same thing now is going to happen in the country. Okay, you can get that. Why, they like that? Are they happy about that? You can get that out. Go ahead, get them out. Do we love our police? Do we love the police? They're great. They're great. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. The police, they're great. Boy, they move quickly. They don't play games in Texas, do they, huh? They don't. You know, it's funny. I've done so many of these, and we'll have thousands and thousands of people in a room, and it's just like thousands, and you'll have one protester. And the next day headline, Donald Trump suffers through a protest. You know, take like 2 seconds. Donald Trump, he suffered through Donald Trump had protesters outside. I mean, it's called give me a break. It's the safest place there is at a Trump rally, I'll tell you that. Now remember this, we protect each other, but we have to protect everybody. We have to bring everybody. You know, it's make America great again, but we're going to say make America great again for everybody. Not us, everybody. We got to do that for everybody. Really, for everybody. And that's going to happen. So we have to have people come into our country that don't hate us. We have to have people come into this country that want to be proud to come in. And you have certain countries where there's tremendous terrorism, and we're allowing people to flow into our country. And we can't do that. And maybe there'll be a time when we can. Maybe when we figure it out, but we cannot figure it out. We don't have the resources to figure it out. And we're allowing thousands and thousands of people to come into our country from countries that are terrorist countries. Do we love it? This can only happen to Trump, okay? This can only happen. Hello, all you people over there. I love you. They get the side angle, but that's okay. Hey, that sure as hell beats being outside, right? Right? You're happy, right? I've read about this place for a long time. Where's that horse? I want to go on the horse. I want to. Hey, you want to hit the papers tomorrow? Let's get that horse. I'll ride that horse. The problem is, even if I make it, they'll say I fell off the horse and it was terrible. Nah, good place, good place. Good place and great, great people. Great, great people. The people of Texas. We just had a meeting and we had some fantastic folks. I mean, like Andy Beal Bank, one of the great business people. These are the people, by the way, Tom Benenson from Club Corporation. These are the people. You take somebody like Andy Beal. You put him in charge of China. Okay, Andy, do me a favor, renegotiate our trade deal. You know what we can all do? Go home, relax, have dinner. You will make some of the great deals. You say, what happened? Look at it. You make one deal like that. Look, I'll tell you. So we have to do a lot of things. Number one, we have to stop the wrong people. We have to stop people with hate in their heart from coming into our country. When we have a fine gentleman from the Obama administration, he is a fine gentleman, saying that ISIS is coming here. They know they're coming here, and we allow people to come in. And what's happening is a percentage of the people coming in, and I've been pretty good at this stuff. I've been a good prognosticator. I also said keep the oil. I said a lot of good things. I mean, I've been pretty good at this stuff, okay? Keep the oil. Now, of course, did we keep the oil? No. And who's got the oil? Essentially, Iran will have the oil because they're going in. You know, we handed them one of the great deals ever, $150 billion that we gave them back. We should have never given it back. By the way, should have never given it back. You know what you should have said? Sorry, folks, we don't have it. We don't have it enough. We just don't have it, okay? So easy. And we should have never given them the prison. We should have never allowed that to happen. So we have 4 prisoners. They were there for years. Before we started that negotiation, we should have said, got to let them go. We don't negotiate under these circumstances. Got to let them go. And they would have said no, the Persians, great negotiators, historically great negotiators, okay? The Persians. And he said, I said to him, you got to let him go. And I kept saying, when are they going to say, like, we're leaving? We're leaving the negotiation. They never left. The only time Kerry left the negotiation At 73 years old, he participated in a bicycle race. Can you believe it? He fell off the bicycle and he broke his leg and he was like out of it. This is our negotiators. And I promise you that I will never participate in a bicycle race during a major negotiation. I promise. But you know, in the Iran deal, and I say it to people, you say, gotta let our prisoners go. They're gonna say no. Gotta let them go. No. Then you say, sorry, we're leaving. You go out, you double up the sanctions. By the time your plane lands at one of our decrepit airports, they're all decrepit, you know, they're all falling apart. When you go over to the Middle East, you see some of those Middle Eastern countries, you want to see airports, I'll show you airports. You go over to China, you look at certain airports, you look at what they've done with bridges and tunnels and roadways. We're like a third world country, folks, okay? We're like a third world country. And you know what? We owe China right now $1.7 trillion. We owe Japan $1.6 trillion. What do? They sell the cars. It's like NASCAR. You know, the head of NASCAR, Brian France, great guy. He endorsed Trump, right? King Richard Petty yesterday endorsed. If you guys are like, do we love Richard Petty? He was up on the stage. You saw him. Yesterday, they said Richard Petty's a great guy, but so many great people. We have such great endorsements, and we have them from winners. And I'm actually thinking for the convention, you tell me, we have them from winners, like really, Dana White from UFC. You guys are like, I like UFC. Herschel Walker. We have them from everybody. We have them from all over the place. But we have such great endorsements. And I'm thinking about doing, Don King endorsed me 2 days ago. Big Don King. Big Don King. Don King likes Trump. What can I tell you, you know? That's okay. Don King's a good guy. But I don't know, I want him to be my manager, but he's a great guy. Don King's good. But you know what? We have such great endorsements. And by champions, by incredible champions. Hey, by the way, excuse me. We went to a place called Indiana, and Bobby Knight endorsed me. Boy, did that happen. Right? So many of the great people, Digger Phelps just so many people have endorsed. And we're thinking about doing something Lou Holtz in Indiana. We're thinking about doing something that's different. Rather than listening to politicians talk, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much, and everyone's falling asleep. Rather than doing that, we're thinking about she says, I love your hair. That's nice. That's the nicest thing that anybody's going to say about me. And it is my hair. Can you tell? Thank you. What a beautiful compliment. I love your hair, Donald. I love your hair. Did you get that on tape? Because I hope you have that on tape, because I want it for my children, that they can remember me. But we're thinking about at the convention, we're going to have a great convention in Cleveland. And we are going to, I think, have a winner's night. So instead of politicians, you know, we're going to have some of these great people that I mentioned and some more. We have such unbelievable endorsements. So maybe, I haven't even asked them yet, but you take a Bobby Knight and you take some of these great winners. They're winners. There aren't many winners. But you take these winners and we're going to have them speak. And we'll have a winner's night. That'll probably be the best attended night of the whole deal. So we're going to do that. We have some incredible people. The Bobby Knight story was interesting. The Bobby Knight story was so great because he called me like a year and a half ago before I was going to run. So, you know, it's 1 year ago tonight. It's such a great night. But a year and a half ago, 6 months before that, he called. And he heard I was thinking about it at all. And NBC was putting a lot of pressure on. They wanted me to do The Apprentice. And everybody wanted me to do The Apprentice. And, you know, it's not insignificant. It's pretty insignificant compared to what we're doing, I can tell you that. But still, you know, you have a primetime show that's done fantastic, one of the most successful shows. And so I'm thinking, I'm saying, no, I want to run. But I get a call from Bobby Knight out of the blue. I never met him. I know of him. He won 900 games. He won 3 championships, college championships. He had the last undefeated team in college basketball, almost for 2 years. And I get a call, won the Olympics. He won like everything, right? Tough guy. Tough but smart and good, great heart. But he calls me up. Mr. Trump, I'd like you to run for president. You should run for president. You'll be a great president. That's cool, right? How cool? I said, Coach, I appreciate that, but you know, I haven't really made up my mind. You got to run for president, Mr. Trump. And that was before I even had Make America Great Again, you know. So I didn't even tell him I'll make America great. We're going to make America great, folks. But we're going to make America great again. So he goes, no, you'll be great. And I say, Coach, do me a favor, give me a number. And if I do it, I'm going to call you. And I did it. And I didn't call Bobby. And it was an amazing thing. I told the story. I took his number. I put it on the bottom of a huge pile of papers, like 3 feet of papers. Almost as tall as my tax return, okay? But not quite. Almost as tall. So, yeah, you've seen that picture. So what happened? Oh, by the way, I'm lowering everybody's taxes more than anybody else. More than anybody else. And by the way, aside from abolishing the Second Amendment, Hillary Clinton is going to raise your taxes big league. That's the last thing you need. She has to. And you know, she doesn't want to talk about it, but they're talking about 55 and 60%. She doesn't want to talk about it, okay? And she doesn't put, you notice, she doesn't put that one in her little plans too much. So she doesn't talk. She's going to raise your taxes like you've never seen before. I think it'll end up being the biggest tax increase in the history of this country. We already have the highest taxes anywhere in the world. And let me tell you, I'm bringing them down, and we're going to get our country working again because we're going to bring our jobs back and lots of other things. But we have to finish our Bobby night, right? So what happens is I put his number down on this big stack of papers, and that was the end of it. And then I'm running, and we're doing great, and we get to New York, and I won New Hampshire, we won South Carolina, we won the whole South. I wasn't supposed to win the South. In fact, if this whole thing doesn't work out for me, I think I'm going to move to the South, okay? No, they were the South. Oh, man. Alabama, Arkansas. We went through the South, which was pretty good. The great thing, when it's expected you're not going to win and you win in a landslide. Because one thing very embarrassing about me, I hate it. I hate saying it. It's a certain effect that they say. There was one person in California, and I'm not going to mention names, but he polled, and then people didn't vote for him. In other words, they said, he's such a nice man. It's so politically correct. So when the pollsters come around, we're going to always say, and then he ended up losing. So he's supposed to win an election by 10 points. He lost by 5 or something. So it's a certain effect. Now I have, unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, the opposite effect. When I poll, I do fine. But when I run, I do much better. In other words, people say, I'm not going to say who I'm voting for. Don't be embarrassed. I'm not going to say who I'm voting for. And then they get in, and I do much better. It's like an amazing effect. So I won these places like in landslides. Massachusetts, I got almost 50%. And they never say this. They never say this. They never say it. Massachusetts with, I think there were 8 or 9 people. So I got almost 50%. And we have all these people. There's never been so many people running in a primary. We had 17 people running in the primary, right? So it was the largest crowd ever in the history of politics, I think, on both sides. So they'd say, Donald Trump only got 49%. They don't say there were like 7 or 8, 9 people left, right? And they'd always say that. I remember early on, I got 32% in one of the places, and there were like 8 people. And they'd say, Donald Trump did not break 50. This is terrible. I said, there was like 8 people. They never mentioned that. But then they started dropping like flies, folks. Drop out. So we start with 17 and 15 and 14, and it got down to 11, and then 10. And then it got down to 7. And then it got down to 6 and 5 and 4. And then it got down to 3. And even at 3, by the way, 3 is hard too. Don't kid yourself. If you won 45 to 55, right, in a 2-person race, that's called a massive landslide. That's a landslide, right? They consider that to be a tremendous, easy victory. But I got in New York almost 62% with 3 people. And won almost everything. And then what happened is we went to Pennsylvania, and we went to all over. We went to Connecticut, we went to Maryland, we went to Rhode Island and Delaware. That was the next week. And I won every single county in every single state. It's never happened. And just before that, we went to Florida. And in Florida, I won 66 out of 67 counties. That never happened before. Running against a good guy, Marco. I ran against a good guy, Marco. But I won and won by almost 20 points. Which is, right, that's a big victory. So I won Florida. And in Florida, they tried to do a number because when they heard I was running, they changed it because you had Bush and Marco, sitting senator, former governor for a long time. And so what happened, and it was sort of amazing, what happened with that, is she okay? Is you okay? We want to make sure you're okay. Because these are my people. I love these people. Are they okay, folks? You okay? Okay, good. Because it's about 120 degrees outside. Do you know, we had people, it was just on your news. And by the way, your NBC local affiliate treated me so nicely. I don't know who the hell these people are. But they treated me, I was watching your local news. I'm getting a little tired of cable. It's coming out of my ears. I can't watch. Variety, the big, the big magazine that covers entertainment. They said, Trump gives cable the biggest year ever in profits and viewers. And I'm saying, what do I get out of it? I get nothing out of it, right? What do we get out of it? Anyway, so we won all of these states. But in Florida, what happened is they said Trump's running, so let's make it winner take all. That would mean that one of the professional politicians will win. They'll get all 99 delegates, right? So I said, I don't like that. That's not fair. So I immediately went wild, and I challenged it, and I sent legal, and we did everything. That's not fair. And then a poll came out, and it said Trump 48, and the other two like 11 and 12. I'm not knocking them. I'm just saying. I said, withdraw those letters immediately. And we won Florida in a massive landslide. We got all 99. Good, right? But what happened, so we won Pennsylvania and all that stuff, and literally we won every single county in every single state. It was incredible, that whole thing. And you know what I like about New York, what's cool about New York? They really know me well. And Florida too. Florida really knows me well. And Florida, I have a lot of people working in these places, and they know me, and they like me. That's sort of like verification. Does that make sense? If they know me in New York, oh, do they know me? They're so sick of me in New York. Do they know me? They love me. They gave me the biggest victory. That tells you something. The people that know you, they're smart, they're tough, they get it, they're great people. But I go to New York, and honestly, I had very good competition. A governor and a senator were left. Both smart guys, good guys. And they worked hard. They worked very hard in New York. And I won by almost 62%. And when you get sick with three people, remember. And then in Pennsylvania, and then in California, you saw that 2 weeks ago, 78%, and they had a lot of lines. There were a lot of little names that people don't take off where you can check them, et cetera, et cetera. But in Indiana, so everyone said, oh, he's going to win New York. There's nothing we could do about that, which is good, right? That tells you something. But he's going to win New York. Oh, he's going to win Pennsylvania. He's going to win these states. But we're going to stop him in Indiana. And I went to Indiana a month before. I was smart. I went there and I made a speech, and I saw a crowd that was unbelievable. We filled up this massive basketball arena. And I said, wait a minute, this doesn't feel, that was 4 weeks before. And this was before even New York. I said, this doesn't feel to me like second place. When you fill up an arena, but it doesn't feel, anyway. So we win these other states, and now the firewall, they all called it the firewall. The great firewall is going to be Indiana. That's where they're going to beat Trump, and then they're going to go on from there, and they're going to just clobber Trump. Except what happened, right? Maybe it was Bobby, but it was something. But all of a sudden, they started doing polls, and we're doing great. And then one of my people came up to me and said, sir, do you know Bobby Knight? Because they love him in Indiana. I said, do I know him? He called me. He wants to support me. I said, wait a minute. What a great idea I had. Let's call Bobby Knight. And I'm telling you, this is a true story. This is from God. I go over and I lift up this massive, it must be like 4,000 pages of stuff, old stuff. And I lift it up, and there's his number sitting on a little piece of paper like this, Bobby Knight. And I called Bobby Knight, and I said, Coach, he said, I've been waiting for you to call. What took you so long? Unbelievable, right? Isn't that unbelievable? I love that story. And he said, let's go. And I met him in Indiana, and I'm telling you, they heard he was going there, and I got an ovation, and he got an ovation like you wouldn't believe.
And we won Indiana in a landslide, and then everybody just said, we're going home. This is too much. We're going home. So we got almost 14 million votes in the primaries, more than anybody in the history of the party. I mean, it was so incredible. It was such an amazing thing. And perhaps more importantly, although I'm not sure it is, but maybe it is, the party has expanded. We went up 70% in the primaries, 70%. And with all the stuff you hear about Bernie, and by the way, I get by far the largest crowds. Bernie was second, in all fairness, way ahead of any other Republican. But we got by far, we had 35,000 people in Mobile, Alabama. We had 21,000 people when we had a little more time. We had 3 days. Here we had one day. I wish we took it again, but it wasn't available. But we had the Mavericks Arena, and we filled it up, 21,000 people. 21,000 people. And I will tell you, it has been such an honor. And then on television, you see pundits. You see people that hate me. They hate me more than anything in their life. They hate, go ahead, go home, that's okay. Go home to mommy. They're going home. They're so late. Why are they so late in the game? That's all right, don't hurt them, please. I always say that now, don't hurt them. People don't get hurt. You ever notice that? They don't get hurt. Everybody protects themselves. It's great. So beautiful, honestly, it's what should happen in this country. That's what we need. That's what we need in this country, okay? That's what we need in this country. So the party has expanded greatly, and, record-setting. All over the world they talk about it, by the way. But pundits that truly hate me, people that despise Donald Trump, because number one, you watch this guy like Charles Krauthammer, who was a big war hawk. He wanted us to go into Iraq. We should go into Iraq and bomb them and totally destabilize the Middle East, all that stuff. Look back. But he was another one. He said, Donald Trump will never run. He will never run. And then I ran. He said, oh, well, but he'll never win. So we started. You remember that? We went. And you start at nothing because you're running. They haven't polled, so I said, man, that's a bad poll. The first week I said, but I wasn't in it, so I felt better. I said, if I'm going to start with nothing, I'm in trouble. But in the second week, I think I had 6 or something, and then I had 7, then I had 12, then I had 18. And do you remember when they said, and this was against a lot of people, then I went up to 29, then I went up to 32, with all these people in it. But do you remember they kept saying, well, now he has reached the ceiling. He's got 6%, the first week. He's got 6%. He has reached the ceiling. That's the highest he'll go, and that's all he deserves. Okay, fine. So I said, man, that's bad news if I reach the ceiling. And I remember one of the others, actually it was Krauthammer and others, said this is the finest group of talent ever assembled by the Republican Party. And this is like a month or two before I decided to run. I said, man, I went to my wife. I said, this is going to be tough. I didn't know too many of them. But I said, this is going to be tough. Wasn't so tough, folks. It wasn't so tough. Okay? Actually, beating the Democrats is tougher because the press is so dishonest. I'll be honest with you. Beating the Democrats is tougher because the press, and I'll tell you why. But anyway, before I tell you why. So then what happens? We go to 6, and they say this is a ceiling. We go to 12, and they said, this is a ceiling. I was surprised he went this high. Next week we go to 18. Then we go to 21, 24, 28, 32. And we finish off like at 78 in California, and 62 in New York. And always they were saying, even when they started saying, boy, this is getting to be a pretty scary ceiling. When they would go like, you may be right. 32 may be a ceiling, but with all these people, and to have 32, and you may be right, but I'll tell you what, this is getting to be a little bit scary, they're saying. So, you know what? So it's great. But here's what happens. Okay, here's what happens. The press lies. And let me give you an example. So we're going to have great trade deals, and you know that, and I've talked about how they're moving to Mexico, and they're moving. I love Mexico, and I love the Mexican people. I have thousands of Mexicans working for me, and we're going to win the Hispanic vote. We're going to win the Latinos. We're going to win the Latinos because I'm going to bring jobs back. I'm going to bring jobs back to our country. You watch. We're going to win with the Latinos. Hillary's going to do nothing for them. Hillary's going to do nothing for them. Just like, I'll tell you what, women, right? Women. So Hillary supposedly is doing well. I respect women, and I will do so much better for women. But Hillary takes all of this money into a crooked foundation, Crooked Hillary, Crooked Foundation, from Saudi Arabia and from many other countries where they enslave women. That's what they do. They call it enslavement. So they enslave women. As far as gays are concerned, okay, think of it. They throw gays off buildings. They kill them. Countries that contribute to her foundation. And she should give all that money back to all these countries. It's tens of millions of dollars. And you know what? LGBT is starting to like Donald Trump very much lately, I will tell you. Starting to like Donald Trump very, very much lately. I don't know if you've been looking, but they're saying it's right. Because she's not only taking money, but she wants to have a 500. Here's one where it was interesting. Get him out of here. Get him out. Crazy. You having a good time? Yeah, good time. You get him out of here. Boy, do you guys work fast in this area. Oh. Let's give our police a hand. I'll tell you what, they're not treated properly. They're not treated properly. They do an amazing job. They do an amazing job. So LGBT, the gay community, they kill gays in these countries. And she wants to have a 500, you know, it's interesting. I've been saying a 500% increase, and I was actually corrected. It's 550% increase over what Obama's allowing in. So you tell me, who's better for the gay community and who's better for women than Donald Trump? Believe me. Believe me. But I'll tell you how dishonest the press is. I'll tell you how totally dishonest they are. So things that you've never heard of. Go ahead, get them out of here, because I'm trying to make a nice point here. Get them out. Get them out of here. Right away. Bobby Knight. What do you think Bobby would do? Bobby would say, get him out of here. Bobby, winner, champ. We love winners. We do love winners, don't we, folks? Don't we want one? Hillary's making a speech on the economy next week. You know what? Her husband signed the worst bill, economically speaking, in the history of this country, NAFTA. It destroyed this country. It destroyed the manufacturing of this country. One of the worst bills ever signed from an economic standpoint of this. And you know what? He got away with it, but everybody that suffered with it, because when he signed it, other presidents that followed, it's wreaked havoc. You have to see New York State. You have to see New England. You have to see Pennsylvania. You have to see what NAFTA has done to these states. It's unbelievable how bad it's been. Unbelievable. So here's what happens, just to show you again the total dishonesty of these people. Get out of here. Go. Boom, boom. Go home. Go home. You should, you know, they're so rude. They're so rude. It's our place. Now, I could have him arrested, but I don't want to do that. I don't want to ruin his life. Yeah, get that guy out, please. Get him out. Get him out of here. Go home. Go home to your parents. I don't think I'll ever be getting his vote. Do you agree? Thank you. So, folks, seriously. So we protect these nations. Now, we're a debtor nation. We owe $19 trillion, going up to $21 trillion. The budget deal was horrible, the omnibus budget. And people didn't know this. But we protect Japan and subsidize their military, our military. So we protect Germany. We protect South Korea. We know that. We have 28,000 soldiers on the line. These are massively wealthy countries. These are countries that are unbelievable. We protect Saudi Arabia. They pay us far less than it costs. Now, Saudi Arabia has nothing but money. They were making $1 billion a day when the oil prices were high. $1 billion a day. Yeah, get him out. It's okay. Oh, it's the same guy.
The same guy with the cowboy hat. He's got a cowboy hat. I love the cowboy hats, but I like the Make America Great hats too. Hey, you know, the protester just gave me an idea. We'll say, Make America Great Again on a cowboy hat, right? Where are my people? Where are my people? I love that idea. Thank you, Mr. Protester. Boy, that's going to sell well in Dallas, I can tell you. But seriously, so a lot of people, I wasn't even sure, a lot of people didn't know that we spend all of this money, and we don't want them to arm, ideally. But you know, at some point you have to be able to walk away, or you can't make a good deal. You have to say, sorry. But we pretend, look, it's hard to believe. We protect militarily Japan. Now, we have a treaty with Japan. If we're attacked, they don't have to help us. If they're attacked, what do? Start World War III. Okay, good deal. That's like a typical deal for the United States, right? We protect Japan and Germany and South Korea. We protect Saudi Arabia and others, okay? We protect, look at the NATO situation, right? Look at NATO. All of these countries, many of them are delinquent. You know, in the real estate business, we call it delinquent. They didn't pay their rent, they're delinquent, right? So they didn't pay. Or they're paying far less than they're supposed to. But in any event, we're subsidizing greatly. And if Russia, it was meant, you know, it was meant for the Soviet Union, but with NATO, right? But let's say Russia will take its place. It's plenty powerful, probably more because of what Putin is doing. You know, he's building up his armed forces like you wouldn't believe he's building up. We got to be careful. We got to be smart. You got to be smart. And he said a lot of good things about me. Remember during the debate? And they wanted me to renounce him. I said, a guy calls me a genius and I'm going to renounce. I'm not going to renounce it. But he's not going to get anything by it. But what's wrong with talking to him? What's wrong with talking? Remember a couple of weeks ago, the head, you know, this wild man, right? Wild child in North Korea. They asked me, would you talk to him? I said, absolutely. Why not? Why not? Hillary Clinton said, he would talk to a dictator. Absolutely, I'll talk. Absolutely. Who knows? There's a 10% chance, a 20% chance that we can talk him into, who knows? Good stuff for us. Only good stuff. We're going to make good deals, okay? Remember what I said. Remember what I said 2 weeks ago. Remember what I said. Great deals. We only make great deals. America first. If we don't make great deals, nothing wrong with talking. I'll talk to anybody that wants to talk. I'm not going there, folks. I can tell you that much right now. You won't see me come back so easily. I'm not going there. But as far as talking. But so nobody knew this, and people started finding out. I think, you know what, I've brought a lot of points to the forefront. I brought a lot of points. So we defend Japan, and we defend Germany, we defend lots of different places, right? Now think of it, think of it. We do this because we don't want them to arm, ideally, right? But this isn't 40 years ago and 30 years ago. We were a debtor nation. We owe nothing. We have tremendous deficits, massive. Did you see our trade? Our trade numbers are the worst they've been in almost 8 years. Did you see that was announced yesterday? The trade numbers are deficits, the worst they've been in years, meaning countries are ripping. I keep talking for 2-3 years. I'm talking about trade. We're going to make it great. And our numbers get worse and worse. We had the worst trade numbers in almost 8 years, right? It just never ends. Okay, so here's the story. So we'll straighten it out. Think of it, I straighten it out. Even if I get nice chunks, I have the smartest people in the world have endorsed me. Carl Icahn, a lot of the greatest business people. We use political hacks. We're not going to use political hacks anymore. We're going to use the smartest people. We have the greatest business people in the world. They're dying to do it. They're dying to do it. They don't want any money. They want to do it. It's like a chess game for them. And they do love the country in their own way. They do love our country. They want to see good things. But to them, it's a chess. You know, it's like they love it. They love it. They're so good. I know people that are so good. And I deal with China all the time. China's wonderful. I don't blame China. I blame our leaders for being taken advantage of by Mexico and China and Japan and everybody else. So we defend these countries. Now, here's the story. So I said to the press, I said very strongly, I said, look, we may have to pull back. We may have to do something, because you can't say that we will, I guarantee we'll defend. We got to renegotiate these deals. We can't afford to defend all these countries and lose tremendous amounts of money. So I said, we want to continue to defend, as an example, Japan, Germany, all the others, but we want to continue to defend. But it's possible we won't be able to. And if we don't,
they're going to have to defend themselves against this maniac in North Korea, right? I said, very simple. You got to say that. You got to say that. So the press said, Donald Trump wants Japan to go nuclear. I didn't say that. And actually, David Sanger of the New York Times actually covered it very accurately in a big story he did. But that's okay. I've got to give credit where credit. David Sanger, a very talented writer, covered it accurately. Okay. But I didn't say what they said. See, they left off about 3/4 of what I said. I said, it may be that Japan will have to defend themselves. And that's true. And that's true. It may be. And it may also be that when we talk to them, they'll pay us much more money and will help straighten out our country. But here's the problem. Here's the problem. And let me tell you the problem with politicians, especially Hillary, because she doesn't have a clue. So she comes out, we will never abandon our allies. We will never, ever abandon it. Well, let me tell you, once Japan hears that, what do they have to negotiate for? They're not going to leave? No, we're not going to pay more. She'll go, because now they're all talking about Japan's going to have to pay more money, right? So now, but you can't do that when you say we will never abandon. So she said, we will never abandon. Donald Trump wants to abandon Japan. He wants Japan to go nuclear. I don't want him to go nuclear. It's possible they'll have to defend themselves. But it's also very possible they'll pay more money and we'll continue the thing the way it is now. Okay, that's the fact. But when you say and start screaming from the top of her very luxurious apartment, okay, when you paid for largely by Wall Street, which is interesting. Bernie Sanders got that right, too. By the way, Bernie Sanders got that right. But when you start screaming that we will defend our allies, we will defend them, we will... Well, if I'm Japan, I'm saying, this person's stupid. This is wonderful. Let's not negotiate, right? Now, remember this, and I'm going to finish with this, but I'm just saying this because these are the things we can do. You're talking about billions and billions and billions. You're talking Japan. You're talking Germany. You're talking Saudi Arabia. They were making $1 billion a day when the oil was high. Now they're only making massive amounts of money. They have so much money, they don't know what to do with it, right? We go to Saudi Arabia. If we're not in Saudi Arabia, they're going to be gone in a year. By the way, Iran will get in there, believe me, okay? Because we've made Iran so powerful now, they'll walk in. You know, they like Yemen. They don't like Yemen, but they like Yemen. You know why? Because of the border. It's got a nice, beautiful border. They want to take over Saudi Arabia. Okay. So what's going to happen is you say to Saudi Arabia, do you guys like flying commercial? You ever see the planes they have? Brand new 747s, brand new 777s. And you say, have you ever flown commercial? Because you may have to get used to it. We have to make a deal. No, we have to make a deal. If we don't make a deal, you're going to have to defend yourself. They will give you whatever the hell you want, folks. And we're talking about billions and billions, and we want to protect them. We want to protect them. But it's possible you may have to walk. You may have to say to them, I'm sorry, no good. By the way, the next day you'll probably get a call. Come on back and let's keep negotiating, right? But we've got to be smart. Whether it's trade deals, which you've heard me talk about, and those are easy. Whether it's military deals where we're being just absolutely ripped off. You saw 2 weeks ago, one of the generals got up, and he was sent by Obama, obviously. And he said, doesn't Donald Trump understand that Japan pays for 50% of the cost of their military? I said, what about 100%? What's wrong with it? Why are we paying 50%? We can't afford it. Well, we can't afford it. And then you see these massive ships in Los Angeles pour in, and cars like coming from NASCAR just pouring off these boats, millions of cars. And we're defending them, and we're losing money. We're subsidizing them. We're subsidizing them. Folks, and I guarantee I'll be able to do it. And by the way, if I don't, we're going to save a lot of money, one way or the other. Because maybe it's better for them. You know, I've said it. Maybe it is better for them. Let them handle this maniac if something happens. What the hell do we have to get involved for, okay? Maybe it is better. Maybe it's better. But you know what? The bottom line, I don't think it'll come to that. Because I'm all for it. I have many friends in Japan. I've done great with Japan. I like Japan. I like China. I have the biggest bank in the world, a tenant in one of my buildings in Manhattan from China. The biggest bank in the world by far. A tenant in my buildings. I sell condos to them. The Bank of America building in San Francisco. I have the big chunk of it, 1290 Avenue of the Americas. So many things from China. We can do great with China. I'm not against China. I'm against our leaders being taken advantage of like they're being taken advantage of. Okay, just one other thing. One other point. I love this. One other point. The reason I love it is I love you people. We got to straighten this mess out. So I'm on a show, and Wolf Blitzer, actually, good guy, CNN, it's all right. He's all right. He's a good guy. And I didn't do this. I haven't been exactly studying NATO all my life, but I have a thing called lots of common sense, and I understand what's going on. What do you think of NATO? I said, that's the first time that question's ever been asked of me. But we figure things out fast, right? So I said two things. Number one, it's obsolete, doesn't take care of terror. And number two, we got a lot of people that aren't paying us. We got a lot of countries, and we got a lot of people that aren't paying us or paying us what they're supposed to be paying. And a lot of them aren't even paying what they're obligated to pay, right? Because they think we're stupid people, okay? Because we are led by stupid people. So he asked me the question. I said two things. It's obsolete because of terrorism. You even have the wrong countries if you're talking about terrorism, okay? A little thing like that. And they're not paying us, and most of them, it turned out that I was right. So what happened? I got just absolutely killed by the press. Donald Trump wants to abandon NATO. That was the next thing. I always want to abandon everything they say. They don't get it. Donald Trump wants to abandon NATO. He wants to abandon. He wants to leave. This is the finest thing ever assembled in this country. Okay, all that stuff, right? And that's it. They don't talk about the money. They don't talk about the economics. They don't talk about we're paying like 72% of the cost of NATO, and we're defending them. They're supposed to be paying us. So, a little thing. Now what happened, about 3 days, I was just getting killed on that thing. And that's all I said. I said it's obsolete. I said no terrorism, because terrorism's a big threat to me. Terrorism's like the big deal. I said obsolete, no terrorism, and they're not paying. Okay, simple. I leave. For 3-4 days I was killed. Then all of a sudden, people started saying, Trump is really a smart guy. He's really right. The people that really study NATO. Did you ever see, you can't see the forest for the trees, right? You got these people, they're good people. They work NATO every day. Like NATO to me was like, I don't think I've ever been asked about NATO before. But these people, their whole life, 6 hours a day, 5 hours a day, they work for government. Okay, now I'm only kidding. I was going to say 12 hours a day, but I wish. But for whatever hours they work a day, they study NATO. And they're so close to it that they didn't see what I pointed out. So what happens is, it was an uproar for 3 days. And then all of a sudden, people were starting to write big deals. Trump is right. It's not taking care of terrorism. All these countries owe us money. Trump is really right. And then 3-4 days ago, I read on the front page of the Wall Street Journal, NATO to form massive terrorism unit to be headed by, I don't know, some big general or something. And I said, that's only because of me. It is. It's only because of me. It's only because of me. It's only because of me. And I got no credit. Actually, the Wall Street Journal put a little tiny, like a third of a cent, Donald Trump complaint. That was it. Buried in this. Donald Trump complaint. I was surprised they even mentioned that. It's only because of me. I don't want to be bragging. I don't want to be. I'm just telling you, it's only because of me. They would have never done this. They're doing the right thing. But they would have never done this before. Now they have to get the right countries in there. They got to do some other things. But there's a lot of common sense. But think of the money. Let's say I get some of these countries, all of these countries, to pay up. Okay? To pay up. To pay something fair. We're talking for our country billions of dollars. Remember, we're the ones with the jet fighters that are 20 years old that we have to go to graveyards, plane graveyards, to get parts. To use on our jet fighters to have our great young people fly in planes where they're going to junkyards and museums to get parts for current fighters. While our opponents and our so-called allies are buying our planes, and they got the new beautiful versions of them, and we got old planes that are, literally obsolete planes. It's not going to happen anymore, folks, okay? Not going to happen anymore. Not going to happen anymore. It's not going to happen anymore. And that's right. I wanted to cover this tonight because there's so much. We're talking about the economics. Because when I saw that trade numbers today come out, the biggest in almost 8 years, the worst trade numbers we've had in 8 years. In other words, all of these countries that I've been talking about all the time, I spill my guts out talking about these countries, it's getting worse. It's getting worse, not better. It's getting worse. Worse numbers. I started talking about it 10 years ago. But 2-3 years ago, and then when I ran 1 year ago, I made it a major thing. The borders, illegal immigration, trade. I made it such an important thing. And you'd think the numbers would get better, because people hear me talking about it, right? And the numbers are getting far worse. Worst in almost 8 years. Just think about that. How disgraceful is that? Our jobs are being taken away from us. Our money's being stripped from us. They devalue their currency. And I'm not only talking about China. China's the biggest and the greatest abuser. But I'm not only talking about China. I'm talking about many countries. I'm talking about almost everybody. I mean, like, you take a look at our deals, almost everybody. If I win, we're going to have a lot of great things happen. We're going to have the wall. The wall, this man keeps shouting, wall, wall. No, we're going to have the wall. No, we're going to have the wall. You know, your border patrol. Thank you. Well, we're going to build it. We're going to build it. We're going to build it. Thank you. We're going to build that wall. Believe me, we're going to build that wall. We're going to build that wall. Who's going to pay for that wall? By the way, 100%. And they'll be happy to do it. It's peanuts compared to the trade deficits that we're talking about with Mexico. They'll be happy. And we'll have a better relationship with Mexico than we have right now. Right now, we don't have a good relationship. We have a bad relationship with Mexico now. We'll have a better relationship with China, with Mexico, with Japan, with all of these countries. We'll be better. They'll respect us. You know, they have to respect us. When they don't respect you, folks, look at China. They're building one of the largest fortresses in the world in the middle of the South China Sea. Do you think they got an environmental impact study and they went to their do you think they went to their various environmental departments to get the approval? Do you think so? Or do you think they said, build it, and they started the following hour? Okay? Folks, we got a long way to go in this country, I'll tell you what. But I appreciate Texas, so many friends, and so many of my friends from Dallas, they're in the audience. And I just want to tell you, nothing's easy in life. But we are going to make our country so great again. We are going to make it strong. We're going to save our Social Security and our Medicare, which others want to cut. We're going to keep our taxes and bring our taxes down instead of a massive increase that Hillary Clinton wants to do. But we're going to start winning again. We don't win anymore. We lose. We only lose. We're going to start winning again. We're going to start winning again. We're going to win at everything. We're going to win every which way. We're going to start winning again. And you're going to be very proud of your country again. Right now, a lot of people aren't so proud of our country. We love our country, but we're not proud of what's happening. You're going to be proud of this country again. We're going to make America great again, and it will be America first. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Thank you, Texas. Thank you, Dallas. Thank you very much.